Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you game 2 of a best of 5 between Gonzo and Karma in the grand final of the Season 4 playoffs of the Steel Division 2 League. If you missed game 1, make sure to go back and check it out, it was absolutely awesome. But today they're going to be playing on Shchedrin, and on our left in the red team playing on the allied side we have Gonzo using the 7th Mechanized core and the Vanguard deployment type. And on our right, in the blue team playing on the Axis side, we have Karma using the 20th Panzer and the Vanguard deployment type. So previously we saw Karma use the 3rd Fallschirmjäger to defeat the 3rd Canadian. And it seems like Karma's actually quite confident on the Axis side of things, bringing out the 20th Panzer this time around. But the 7th Mechanized is a very strong division. It's pretty top tier, has a lot of decent infantry, supported by T-34's very aggressive division, has a lot of tricks up its sleeve. 20th Panzer though, lots of Panzer IVs, great for countering T-34s, as well as some decent infantry in the form of the Panzergrens, of course. The Panzergrens, they are great at engaging enemy Soviet infantry from range, because they outmatch DPs massively. When it gets to a close range engagement, the PPSH outmatches the MP40. So the range engagement is something that we're going to have to keep an eye on, between the infantry at least. And when it comes to the tanks, the Panzer IVs again have the range engagement against T-34s. Although the T-34 1942s do have a reasonable amount of armor, so they can kind of fight back with the Panzer IVs quite well. Let's have a look at the deployments. First up, on the top side, we've got the 4 Strelki here, Strelki Komrotti and the PTRS. PTRS looking for some transport snipes at the start. Another PTRS for the center with 2 Flamers, Strelki Komrotti, going to be multiple Strelki SVT in the M2 half-tracks with the Razvedka, 2 Tanko Desaniki, and 2 T-34 76 1942s. And on the bottom, we're going to see 2 Su-76s, 2 Zis-3s, 2 Tanko Desaniki, 2 Strelki SVT, and Strelki Komrotti there as well. So the Tanko Desaniki, really strong close-range infantry. Strelki SVT, really good mid-range infantry due to the use of those SVTs. Over on the side of Karma, we're going to be seeing Panzergrens and Ersatztruppen supported by the Panzer III, Panzer IVs. Panzer IV F1s these are, the ones with the stub gun, which have a lot of HE power. Panzerschreck leading the charge there. On the center road here, we've got the Marder 1. Panzerschreck going to be moving up in front with an MG42, Pak 40, Aufklärer, Panzergrens, and a Panzer IV F1 with the Marder. We're going to see on the very top road there, it's going to be the Panzerschreck, Aufklärer, 2 Panzerschrecks actually on this top side, with the 4 Ersatztruppen, Panzergrenadier, and the Panzer III. So Karma's spread out his armor quite a bit. Whilst Gonzo's kind of maintained his for the bottom side of the map. He's going to have these T-34s move to the center, and these Su-76s covering the open ground on this bottom side. So he doesn't have any armor for the top, whilst Karma has his Panzer III up here that might be able to support against these infantry engagements between the Ersatztruppen and the Strelki. He does have the Panzergrenadiers there. Is he going to bring anything in from this mid-road? No. That's going to be something to keep an eye on, the Ersatztruppen versus Strelki, because Strelki should win, especially with the extra veterancy from the Strelki Komrotti. PTRS there going to get a free kill onto the Ersatztruppen on the top side. It's always very annoying when you see the Soviet AT rifle squads pop in a couple of your transports at the start of the game. Here the T-34s might be able to get another transport snipe, but see how accurate they are. Yep, they get another one. Ersatztruppen go down. Shooting on the move in the T-34 76. Not something that's very accurate. He's have a base accuracy of 30%. So, yeah, that was actually a pretty damn good shot for them. Tanko Desaniki do manage to surrender the unit in the building there. 2 Ersatztruppen, 2 Panzergrens now going to be making a push for this hill. The 2-star Tanko Desaniki at close range are going to do a ton of damage to Ersatztruppen and Panzergrens. He just needs to keep them out of line of sight. If he moves them too far forwards, then the Panzergrens will be able to engage them from range, and that will put him in a bit of an awkward spot. Also doesn't want to be engaged by anything on the opposite hill. Over here, this MG42, if it moved forwards, might be able to get some shots into the side of the Tanko Desaniki when they engage the Ersatztruppen. Pack 40 also brought up here. The two Strelki SVT have already made it into this tree line though. This could be really dangerous for Karma. If he loses position on this hill, it's really hard to take back, especially if Gonzo manages to get like a couple of these 3s over there. But the MG42 and Pack 40 are very vulnerable to these Strelki SVTs, and it looks like they're going to go down. Nice off-map though from Karma, brought in the 220mm off-map early on. Straight onto an area where Gonzo has deployed a lot of his units. So MG42 actually being moved up to help cover the Pack 40. Takes a while to set up though, and makes itself very vulnerable to the submachine guns that the Strelki SVT have. And this off-map is going to be a little off target, unfortunately. If the push comes through quickly for Gonzo, he's going to avoid quite a lot of that artillery, unless he ends up falling back into it. Off-map is coming down. Will he realise where it's targeted? Because this is on the very edge at the moment of this off-map. Pretty lucky so far that nothing's landed on top of him. The Razvedka SVT are pinned down. Looks like both of the tanks managed to get out of there relatively unscathed. So, Panzergrens now charging up in front of the Panzer IV. Panzer IV, great close range engagement tool versus Strelki SVT. HE plus the 2 machine guns. Also the Panzer III there getting involved. Forces the Strelki SVT off the hill. Benko is still unaffected so far. Might get spotted in the future. Another off-map strike coming down in the same place. Gonzo's infantry is still falling back though. Just recovers, moves back into cover. Will that get hit? Small engagements on the top side between the Strelki and the Panzergrens. Those Panzergrens are likely to get overwhelmed. Panzer IV cleans up the Strelki there. Now a direct shot onto the 37mm AA. That's very nice for Karma. He's picking up a lot of value here. Killing both the infantry squads and now the free AA pieces. AA is quite expensive. Don't want to be losing that early on. And Gonzo does. This 3, 2 Zis-3s and 2 Su-76s bombarding the Ersatztruppen here, doing a decent amount of damage. Unfortunately, the HE on these guns isn't that crazy. Nice hits though. Can he finish off the Su-76? He can't. He actually starts moving that in reverse. I feel like the movement there kind of stopped him from getting that kill. Bombing strike from the ME-109 fails to pick up the Zis-3 kill as well. Probably just because the bomb wasn't really big enough to get the job done in one go. Now we see the T-34s coming up. He's got 4 of them. They can be very unreliable at range, so he's got to be careful. Panzer IV does go down. Doesn't move it back quick enough. Both of these players do seem to be a little bit slow on their micro, it seems. It might just be because they're a bit tired after the last game. The last game was quite a slogfest, really. But now the Ersatztruppen engaging the Strelki in the town, and they are going to slowly but surely get overwhelmed here. The veterancy helping so much with this engagement. And that's giving a lot of flags to Gonzo on the top side of that map. Gonzo now working his way up on this bottom side as well. Wants to take back the flag on top of the hill. Panzer III is moving across the open. Off-map still landing in the center. That has stopped Gonzo's advance here for the time being. But he needs to find a way to deal with the 1942. The Panzer IV F1's trying its best with the heat rounds. But does get bailed out there. T-34 saves its own bacon for the time being. Tankos do get found on the flag in the open on this bottom side. So now they're going to be taken care of, and that's a flag back to Karma. Stops the double tick. It's probably the most important part. Panzergren's also coming in on the top side, help capture back that flag. All these tanks going to be killing off the Flamer unit. Let's pay attention to this engagement. 2 AT guns, 3 AT guns have been unloaded in the face of the Panzer IIIs and the Marders. That's 2 tanks down, 1 Marder, 1 Panzer III so far. Another Marder's going to go down. Forces one of the Panzer IIIs to fall back. Looking to finish that off. Not going for the Panzer IV as well. Panzer III dead. AT gun dead. Honestly, if Gonzo trades those AT guns for all that armor, he's certainly at an advantage. ME-109 looking to bomb out the last 45 though, and the Panzer IV F1 will stay alive. T-34 on the ridge has gone down in the meantime. IG is currently engaged in ZIS-3, but ZIS-3 does manage to get a kill onto the Marder in the meantime as well. Panzer IV now engaging the T-34-76 1942, but that is not a good engagement. Only 50 meters of frontal armor. 50 millimeters, sorry, of frontal armor on the Panzer IV. 50 meters would be quite a lot. Panzer IV does have a nice amount of damage against the T-34s. But with the AP shell, or sorry, it was the AP shell being turned off. When it ran out of heat shells there, it didn't actually fire its AP at the T-34, so just died firing HE. The infantry squad goes down as well, and that's going to cause the flag to be captured by Gonzo again. Aufklärer in the open do get found. It just shows you how blind these tanks can be, because that Aufklärer was just sat in the open, not taking machine gun fire for a serious amount of time there. Panzer III now trying to engage the T-34 from range. T-34 does take a penetration from the Panzer III because it showed its side armor briefly to the Panzer IV-G up on the hill. Or showed its front armor to the Panzer IV-G on the hill, and then the Panzer III side shot it. But this ME-109 coming in with the bombing strike there, looking for the kill onto these AT guns. And it seems like Gonzo is really reliant on kind of just spamming these AT guns into the face of Karma's armor. But Karma, he's had enough. He's brought in the Beuter Stalin. This thing, beautiful IS-2 captured on the German side, is going to be looking to clean up these T-34s. But if Gonzo can micro this correctly, use the buildings to his advantage, he should be okay. Then again, it's showing side armor, and its transmission destroyed. It means it can't turn to stop this side shot from being a thing. This is a great opportunity for Gonzo to just clean up that armor. Ju-87 though on the way, needs to split these very quickly indeed to avoid a double kill. And just to do so, one of the T-34 is going to go down, the other one survives for the time being. P-2 coming in with the bombing strike. The split did cause the Beuter Stalin to get the shot off onto the T-34. The P-2 actually doesn't get the kill. Would have much preferred to see Gonzo try and rely on the T-34s to get a side shot, because one of them was always likely to die to this Ju-87 in the end anyway. P-40, can it get the Ju-87? Nice air micro there from Karma. He's so good at his air micro. Unfortunately, he did get caught out in the last game a couple times. But for overall, his air micro is pretty on point, and it's going to be again now. Unfortunately, the P-40 does shoot down the ME-109 bomber in the process, and he probably would have rather lost the fighter than the bomber, because the bomber is just more valuable in general. But the Beuter Stalin's still standing strong, still sitting there firing HE into the Strelki, using it as Dushka. Dushka doesn't have much ammo. That will run out eventually, but the HE certainly does a lot of damage. ME-109 coming in for the strafing run there as well. Marder 3 on the way. ME-1 on the top side. Looks like the Strelki have started to be whittled down in the town here. The Su-76 get taken out by the close range engagement with the Panzer III. And Gonzo's looking very light on infantry. He's going to be forced to reinforce with 3 more units of Strelki and the T-34-76. The T-34-76 and the Su-76 are going to have to work together to deal with the Panzer III and the Panzer IV. Nice strafing run, actually takes out the 45mm AT gun there. But Gonzo's sitting in a nice position, 15-9. Has control of this hill for the time being. Managed to survive the off-map and maintain position there. Only a tank really preventing any larger salient. And 3 moving up. Into a rough position. You can see how many smoke plumes there are from all of the different tanks that have died down in the open due to the AT guns that rushed up earlier. It's gorgeous. Me-109 should be able to outrun a P-40. These Me-109 G2s have 620 km/h speed. P-40 stuck on a measly 540. No chance. So Panzer III now finishing off a Strelki, but the T-34-76s are going to be moving around to engage the Panzer III there. Panzer III is going to want to try and use the cover of the building to escape from that engagement. But Panzergrens have now moved up, captured back this flag. The Panzergrens in the town have captured back those flags as well. Ju-87 gets a clean cluster strike onto the T-34. Things are looking not so bad for Karma all of a sudden. With the 15-9, the double tick did take Karma down half his tickets. But if he can stabilize, he has a decent chance to get back in to this game as long as he continues to trade well. And that's what it's all about. When you have 2 incomes that are exactly the same, 2 Vanguard divisions against each other in this case, it's all about the value you get out of your units. The Karma's going to be looking to not lose his Ju-87 here, although the P-40 is hunting that down. It's a brief strafe onto the Ju-87. 37 might finish the job. Yes, it does. Another cluster strike on the bottom in the meantime, though, is going to take out another T-34. Lesvedka are moving up here. One of them is going to get slammed by the Stalin. The other one in line of sight of the Panzer III. 2 units of Lesvedka to go down for free. That is a nice engagement for Karma. T-34 now moving up to engage the Panzer III, but can't sit in front of the Stalin. Well, like Gonzo really missed his chance there to kill that Stalin earlier on. The Strelki here, they're going to need to get into the town. They were previously blocked off. You can see a couple of transports here being hit on the road by the Panzer III and the Panzer IV. Gonzo brought in an ISU-122S to stop that. They can't move that away from its position too much. Pretty awesome tank destroyer. The ISU-122S has the muzzle brake on it. The main distinction from the ISU-122. The Panzer IV-G could probably still get itself into a position here to get line of sight onto the road without being in line of sight of the ISU-122. That's the trouble I was foreseeing with the placement of this ISU-122 so far. It'd be much better off in the light cover further up, in my opinion. As that's open though, have come across the open on the bottom side for Karma. They're now making some extra ground. That's going to put Karma in the lead, 14-10. Me-109, I was, well, saying that Karma had good micro on his air units, but left that one in the sky a little bit too long there. Takes a lot of damage, doesn't get it shot down though, manages to evac just in time. As that's Trooper making a lot of ground. Probably quite surprised that he can push up that far. Will likely reinforce his bottom side with even more units to continue the push. Panzer IV Marder 1 moving all the way up. As that's Trooper going to be taking back the high ground. It's just Strelki Komroti currently sitting in the way of Karma's advance. One goes down, the second will fall soon enough. But a very strong push coming through here into the town. Strelki are moving up, finishing off the lower health squads of Panzer Grenadiers. P40 will help pin down the Pak 40. So the ISU 122 can hopefully finish that off. Nicely done. ISU 122 has a surprising amount of HE power because of its big barrel. So it manages to waste that Pak 40. These Panzer 4s and the Panzer 3 do have to back off a little bit. They can't let the Strelki get too close. Oh, nice job by the P40 there to kill the Ju-87 just before the P40 gets forced back by the Flak 43. That was going to go for the ISU 122, and if the ISU 122 had gone down, then the Panzer 4s and Panzer 3s could have moved up to cut off more reinforcements into the town. We're now looking at a 16-8 in favour of Karma. It's not looking good for Gonzo. These Panzer 4s, Panzer 3s, Panzer 4Hs and the Panzer 4Fs just been really, really good. Lovely job so far from Karma to get this position on the bottom side. Completely circumnavigated Gonzo's hold on his side. Even is controlling it with his half-track. And now moves his Panzer IVs into an advantageous position on the high ground. Unfortunately, the ISU 122s will prevent that for much longer. But so far, so good for Karma. Just needs to make sure that these units behind his lines don't cause him too many issues. T-34, 76, 1943, for example, coming up here behind, could provide a flank onto the Panzer IVs if he's not too careful. Holding on the top side as well. Pioneers with the SVTs. Actually better than the standard German Pioneers. Those SVT rifles make them pretty good at mid-range combat. Avtos are trying to move into the heavy cover here. That will likely allow Gonzo to take back this flag on his side of the map, because the Ersatztruppen just can't contest Avtos at close range. The Pioneers might be able to, but definitely not the Ersatz. This ISU 122 getting a little bit too close for comfort there for Gonzo. The Panzer IVs pushing off the ridge there could likely penetrate an ISU 122S, so has to be careful with those sorts of engagements. This Panzer IV is actually engaging it already. Curious how much penetration he'd have from that range. Probably not enough to get through reliably. 1 or 2% probably. Can likely kill the T-34 1943 if it tried, but that's going to be a one-shot from the ISU 122S onto the Panzer IV. Panzer IV was on slightly higher elevation here, which is why the ISU could fire at it, if you were wondering. Strelki moving up. Oh, gets the AT grenade onto the Panzer IV. This is devastating for Karma. That was a big mistake. Lost his position there, got kind of greedy and taking back the hill. And the Strelki perfectly timed counter push forwards, takes out the Panzer IV, a half-track, and the squad of infantry that was helping recap that flag. Gonzo takes back that one for free. Avtos now moving on to the Pioneers. Pioneers have thrown their grenade, will kill one of the squads. Second one is on the way. With the help of the Ersatztruppen, might just be able to outnumber the Avtos there, because they are already low on men. Panzer IV moving up to engage the T-34 that's also trying to help out. Pay attention to the grenade, that's the most important part. Didn't manage to get it thrown. So now the Ersatztruppen vulnerable to the Avtos, especially if they engage one by one. And that will probably give back at least the flag on the hill to Gonzo. ME-109 actually being brought in to clean this up. Like the Ersatztruppen might have had that handled. A safe bet, I guess. E-40 looking to try and intercept the ME-109, but the ME-109 too fast. Pak 43 now being moved up onto the ridge. Ooh, this is a very nasty AT weapon to have up on this ridge for Karma. Karma can annihilate these ISU 122s from a distance from up on this hill. Great line of sight here for such an AT gun. Pioneers on their way. Currently, it feels like Karma's struggling to deal with the close-range infantry of Gonzo. Gonzo's veterancy on his infantry is also helping a lot throughout this game so far. P40 also shot down an MU-109 there, so Karma not having as much luck in the skies. And that ISU-122 cleaned up that Panzer 3, what a beautiful shot. Alright, Panzer 4 versus T-34. Panzer 4 is going to back off. Its turret was actually facing the wrong direction, but an ISU-122 is coming down the road here. Has that moved down from the top side? I believe it has. Because that's already a little bit damaged. You can kind of tell, like from, say, this far away with the camera, because the model is slightly browner than like a normal model. And if you zoom in, you'll see that it is a bit damaged. It's got the dents on it and such. A bombing strike could likely take that out. Look how beautiful that looks. Anyway, Strelki taking out the Ersatz. Pak 43 is trying to get its job done. Takes out one of the ISU-122s. Already pays itself off with that kill. 100 point AT gun, 130 point ISU-122. If he can get another one, that'd be absolutely fantastic for Karma, but looks unlikely. Pak 43 will probably get pinned down and bombed by the PE-3 there as well. Pak 43s are always going to be a huge priority for Gonzo to take out, so as soon as it revealed itself, Gonzo is going to do everything in his power to take care of it. The British Stalin has got back on its feet. The Opel Blitz munition did come in and repair that, so that's now moved up to the hill. The British Stalin's not so much of a force modifier in this game as it could be against other divisions, mainly because, well, in this case it might just get bombed, but also because of the ISU-122s. After all that, 40 points brought in for the Opel Blitz munition. It gets moved. Just like that, Gonzo takes it out. Panzer 4 does get a penetrating shot there onto the ISU-122 as the ISU trades the shot and kills the Panzer 4 itself. This Panzer 4 is trying to engage the T-34 1943 from a distance and will have penetration. 2-star veterancy also might make it accurate enough to get the kill here before the ISU-122S gets involved. He's going to want to fire at that and run away. Oh, the bounce is very unfortunate. The ISU-122 now firing, and that's going to be a one-shot kill. These ISU-122s, they got 12 damage on their gun, which means they can one-shot medium tanks. I think they can actually one-shot heavy tanks if they get them in the side armor. Well, even in the front armor, because heavy tanks have 12 health. So that should get the kill. Anyway, Flak 43, if it kept firing the ISU-122 there, it might actually get the kill. Yeah, it looks like Karma might have ordered that to do so. Because this is already damaged. Gonzo is going to be running away from an AA weapon. 88 has now been unloaded. That's going to probably kill off that T-34. Nice kill indeed. Now looking for the next engagement with the ISU-122S. The MU-109 came in there for the bombing strike onto the infantry. Karma using that to help push out Gonzo. Oh, the AA there helping take out the MU-109. 88 does go down, but does kill the 122 in the process. So that 88 did pay itself off again. Pak 40 cleans up another ISU-122. Off-map now arriving on this top side. Looks like Gonzo actually focused the off-map on killing the Flak 43. Now the KV-1E here with the 203mm off-map is one of those unique units that the 7th Mechanized have. And in this case it's really helping him, well, will help him break down the infantry in the town in order to come back. So from what was quite a strong position for Karma, it looks like Gonzo is starting to make back some ground. He did lose both of his ISU-122s in the process, but he's still holding a lot of these flags and reinforcing with a lot of infantry here, which will be able to whittle down Karma's weaker infantry, the Ersatztruppen. Another T-34 goes down. Karma using these Panzer 3s. Got the heat shell there. Oh, it misses. It's so close range. But I'm pretty sure the heat rounds have terrible accuracy. Does manage to trade. So be happy with the trade. It's pretty sad that it missed the first shot, but that would have to do. Armor back to 13 to 11. A crazy close game. Gonzo's managed to control the skies with the P40s. I feel like this could turn into a pretty big advantage for Gonzo, because he still has his bombers available, whilst Karma's kind of lost a lot of his ME-109 bombers. The PE2s and the PE3s, they'll be able to help break down support weapons like this Pak-43 and also the IG that's coming in here. And that's going to make things difficult for Karma. Even the Marauder can get bombed quite easily, so very easily, as they're open top. He's going to have to pay attention to that, and he does have Panzergrens to move up with his armor, but the numbers on the side of Gonzo, like the numbers of infantry that are available, are quite high, because Panzer Grenadiers, they're costing him 35 points a pop at the moment. He's bringing in a 30-point unit and a 5-point half-track, so that's 35 points. And the Strelki, they cost 20 points. So Gonzo can almost bring in 2 Strelki for every Panzer Grenadier. And that's a big difference. That really does amount to a lot. Especially in closer range engagements, where all guns are on target. Like, you're going to have 22 men versus 10. And that's a huge difference. Even the P40 there going in for the strafing run onto the Marder. P2 coming in for the bombing strike as well, just to clean up another infantry squad. These Pioneer SVTs, they are good at the mid-range, but again, the numbers just overwhelming those. Now 14 to 10 for Gonzo. Ersatztruppen further back being found by the Strelki. Ersatztruppen should lose out in that engagement because of the stress they will take will make them less accurate over time, and then eventually the Strelki will win, even though the guns are relatively even. Panzer IV doing plenty of damage here. This is actually the ace. This is Hearth. It's a slightly lighter camo than the other Panzer IVs on the field. Let me see if I can find another Panzer IV so I can show you the comparison. There we go. This is the normal Panzer IVH camo. Hearth has a slightly lighter one. I kind of prefer Hearth's camo for this map. I think it probably suits a bit better. But either way, Panzer IV there, going to be continuing the engagements with the T-34s. Panzer IV, can it kill the Su-76? The Su-76 reloaded very fast. Panzergren's going down. That's another flag, this time in the town. And it seems as though everything is falling apart for Karma. He had a very strong position. He'd taken back a lot of ground. Very back and forth game, this one. Gonzo had the initiative early on. Karma fought back. Gonzo brought in all the ISU-122s, broke down the units of Karma, pushed back over, got his infantry back into position. I think the hold that Gonzo had on this center hill for the majority of the game really helped him with that comeback as well. Because when Karma's trying to retreat, he's then still got to deal with all the units that are behind him. Strelki here, taking some punishment, that's for sure. But with the machine guns now on target, and the heavy cover to no cover engagement happening, they're going to get chunked. P3 coming in with a bombing strike immediately onto the Pak-43 when that's spotted. And just no AA, nothing here to stop that from getting some serious damage done. Double ME-109G2 brought in. One of the ME-109s took a lot of damage from the P3 there. But this does have some reasonably good weapons. Like, it can engage frontally against other aircraft, so what it tried to do there. That ME-109's got to be careful. Might actually get shot down by the rear gunner. The Flak 43 getting involved though. Not going to kill the P3. The P3s have very good resilience. This P40 though is definitely trying to look for a head-on with the ME-109, and this ME-109 actually might get caught by the 37. Oh, nearly. Nearly. Alright, Panzergrens engaging Strelki on the hill. Panzergrens will get chewed up eventually, but the half-tracks might prove difficult to deal with if there wasn't a T-34. T-34 will certainly clean those up. Yeah, the cost difference in infantry, I think, has made a big difference in the late game. Avto's moving up here, managing to take out more half-tracks. All of the infantry on the top side has been killed off. And, oh, this is a terrible place to... Oh, I was complimenting your air micro, Karma. God damn. Gets both of its MU-109 fighters shot down by the P-40. So, getting his own back for the previous game. Yeah, early on, Gonzo's airplay was actually really strong in the last game. It was just later on that Karma managed to start cleaning them up slowly but surely. Looks like those infantry guns cleaned up the recon that was on the top side. One thing that I would say to take note of, guys, if you're, into Steel Division, you play quite a lot, is the placement of Karma's recon units. It's really interesting to see. He puts them in kind of abstract locations. So he's got one here that looks like it's just out in the open, but honestly it's hidden. And on the top side was a nice one. And the other one that was good to point out was the one that was just sitting in the open here, where a tank was right next to it almost, and until it drove a little bit closer, it just couldn't be seen. And these Alpha provide Karma with so much information throughout the game. You can see pretty much most of the reinforcement roads in the center with this one, and on the top side. So, yeah, it's definitely something to take note of. P40 though, cleaning up the IG. Won't be long until that Pack 43 goes down as well. More Pioneer SVTs will be able to help clean out this top area, as long as the grenades land. But Karma's still going to be in a tough spot. Gonzo's really managed to seal the deal, I feel, in this match so far. Unless he makes some pretty epic mistakes, I think he's gonna probably take this game. Another Pack 43 there has been spotted, will be falling back. The reason he puts the fallback order on, even though it's not optimal, is because it does reduce the damage that they take from things like strafing runs and HE. Pack 43 gets a transport snipe. Forces Gonzo to unload those early at least, which is going to help him hold on to the flag for a little bit longer. Pioneers did manage to get past this road, which is good. Ooh, almost takes out those Thraki, but those are going to be forced to unload. P3 coming in for the bombing strike. Again, nothing that Karma can do. Goodbye, Pack 43. Gets one last shot off though. Takes one with him. Thraki go down. Thing is, Gonzo purposefully didn't move up that, or didn't unload that Thraki unit. He kept it in the transport to move up the road after this died. But the shot there was perfectly timed from Karma. That was just Gonzo's mistake though, more than anything. 88 now being brought in to replace the Pack 43, and in order to engage the T-34s, but there are now 5 T-34s approaching the lines of Karma. And that's going to put this 88 in a bit of a sticky spot, because the machine guns plus the HE at close range will pin an 88 very, very fast. And these half-tracks, they're going to deal a lot of damage to the infantry as it runs away. Pioneer's in a nice position to take back the flags on the hill. But with this ultimate control on the top side, Gonzo's in a really good spot, and these 2 infantry guns take out that Pack 43 that was ordered to fall back. Unfortunately, the fallback didn't really pay off there, because it forced the Pack 43 to move out into line of sight of those infantry guns. Good kill though, onto the T-34 here. If he can kill these T-34s one by one as they push forwards, that could be a way in order to break down the support of the infantry, and then he can bring in some of his own infantry, and maybe take back some ground. But with the P3 coming in with a bombing strike again, going to make things very difficult. Panzer IV goes down. Marder does trade with the T-34, but there goes the Marder. Panzergrens are going to have a hard time when the T-34s get on target, and the 88's trying to move up and get some shots off, but as soon as that gets in line of sight, it's going to be pinned down almost immediately. This is really tough for Karma right now, but the Marder Panzer IV combo is probably pretty good for engaging these T-34s from range. Manages to get a strong track broken onto that one T-34 there. Good penetration. Marder. Nice, good kill. Marders could certainly get him back into the game if they hit true. Panzer IV cleans up the T-34. 88's moving up. It has line of sight onto one of these T-34s. Yep, looks like he might be able to clean these up. Especially with the Marder coming in with the flank on the side. Just needs to get the infantry in now that can help with the Stroki that are advancing forwards. Saying that, 5 more T-34s on the way. Gonzo's going all in here just to finish off the game. 15-9, pushing this Panzer IV just slightly forwards would help him capture this flag. That would take away the double tick at least, giving him another minute on the clock. But currently engaging the KV-1E from a distance. Panzer IV goes down. KV-1E should win that engagement. P2 stayed in the sky for the strafing run onto the Marder. It seems like, unfortunately, it's a little too late for Karma to get back into this game. 30 seconds left. Great job by Gonzo to capitalize on the counter-attack that he made with the ISU-122s. And in the end, better value for Gonzo, the sky and on the ground. There was a couple times where it looked like Karma had managed to get back to a point where he was even with Gonzo. But then Gonzo comes out, the ISU-122 treatment, and things went back in his favour. 5 seconds left. It went back to 13-11 briefly there, but 15-9 it's going to end on. Minor victory, 38 minutes, 42 seconds for Gonzo. Gonzo's going to take back a game in this best of 5, and that's what we like to see. Solid. We don't like to see 3-0s, you know. It's got to be at least 4 games or 5 games in a best of 5. You've got to have it, because it just keeps things exciting. And honestly, another fantastic game there. 4,605 kills to 3,795 losses for Gonzo. And when the incomes are the same, the kills and losses actually matter quite a lot. So it wasn't that far off, but it was enough for Gonzo to get that many flags. It makes a big difference in 1v1. You know, only being, he was, what, 800 points behind? And that is a lot of stuff if you think about it. You know, if a T-34 costs 55 points, like a 1942 variant costs 55 points, you're looking at the difference of, I don't know, 8 tanks. Is that right? Probably more than that, actually. Yeah, 16 tanks. Damn. Is that right? Am I doing my math right in my head? Yeah, it should be 16 tanks, roughly. But, so there you go. Gonzo gets the victory. Gonzo's points, a lot of his points were still in his aircraft at the end there. So that's why it maybe didn't look like there was as much of a disparity on the ground. But when you saw like the bunch of T-34s come in there at the end, it kind of told the story as to how we were in that game. Zis-3s did okay there. T-34, anything crazy? Don't think there was anything that did particularly well. No real standout unit per se. At least not on the side of Gonzo. The Panzer IV F1s were really good for Karma. I really liked his use of the mixed Panzer IIIs and Panzer IVs. It's always really cool to see with the 20th Panzer. Voyager Stalin didn't really pull its weight. The transmission destroy really left it in a terrible position. It probably should have died sooner. But yeah, stayed on the field, then got bombed. It's very anticlimactic use of that. The air micro from Karma was not as strong this time around, unfortunately. But it also kind of comes down to the fact that Karma has to rely on the Me-109s as the 20th Panzer. They don't have the best air tab in the game, whilst Gonzo's got, you know, the much higher resilience PE2s and PE3s, and also the P40 with multiple 50 cals. So yeah, tough going for Karma. Thought he had it at one point, sort of midway through the game. I thought he'd managed to make enough of a push back, but the ISU 122s managed to push him out of position enough that the T-34s could then get close again, and Gonzo brought it back from that. Nicely done, Gonzo. Game 2 goes to him. And yeah, fantastic stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in Game 3. Goodbye.